Dave Pensado was trying to take my place. So Dave, it's my turn, not your turn. You come later.
Never take your turn.
So guys, make sure you check out Dave at 2 o'clock. I've got the Dave Pensado's place here. The 100th episode is today here live at 2 o'clock. So make sure you check that out. So guys, welcome to the Avid booth at Namm2013. We've been having a great time with some of you guys hanging out, showing you some cool new products, showing you some cool new plugins, showing you our AAX format, just so much to see. So thank you for being here. My name is Greg Chin. I am an application specialist, product specialist for Avid. I've been with the company for about 7 years. But first and foremost, the reason why I'm here with Avid is because I'm a recording artist. My speciality, as they call it, my genres of choice, I guess, would be electronic music, techno, house. I've worked with a ton of great artists, not as many as Dave, but people such as Madonna, Pink, Depeche Mode, the late Whitney Houston. And throughout my time, I was able to finally get into the power of Pro Tools. What we're going to do today, for the next 25 minutes or so, we are going to pretend that we are in my recording studio back home in Miami. So there's no rain, the weather's great. We're going to have some mojitos. I'm just kidding, I don't have any mojitos. But we're going to have fun anyway. What we're going to do is we're going to take a look at how I remix and use Pro Tools HD for music creation. So everybody knows Pro Tools, industry standard, really great for a bunch of, love the Mass Effect shirt. Pro Tools is great, for mixing. I'll see you later, Dave. But no one really thinks about it so much for music creation, so we're going to focus on that today. So I'm using an HD Native Thunderbolt interface here, along with an HD Omni, my little MacBook Pro over there. So let's go ahead, before we get into the demo, we'll talk a little bit about what HD Native is. So over the past few years, you guys, our users, have been begging us for a really great way to be able to use a host-based system and use the power of Pro Tools HD, right? So what we did is we came up with with HD Native. When we launched it with a PCIe-based card. And recently we've announced and now is out, our brand new HD Native Thunderbolt unit, which I'm using here on the stage. Now, with that, you got to have an audio interface, so we make sure that you have your choice of any of our really great HD I/O family line. So the 8x8, the 16x16, my personal favorite, which I'm using today and use back at home, the HD Omni. So, again, remember, this is a host-based system. So that means that it's using the power of the RAM in your CPU and your computer. So if you take a look here, look how low the latency is on an HD Native system. This is one of the HD Omni 96K session. It's almost DSP style latency, really, really low. We've got the lowest latency of any host-based system in the world. We're really proud of that. So with the great hardware, you got to have great software along with that, right? So with Pro Tools HD, and now with version 10, we've got a ton of great features that we've introduced. These are just some of my favorite features. So obviously you've got this great, track count and being able to mix at really high resolutions. Clip game, something that our host community has been begging us to do. I use it as a musician and as an engineer, I use it quite a lot in music creation, and I'm sure a lot of you guys do too. 32-bit float basically means you've got plenty of headroom. You're not going to distort. And I mentioned our brand new AAX plugin format gives you that true sonic parity between systems, right? Being able to export to Gobbler. Those of you who aren't familiar with Gobbler, they're good friends of ours. It's a cloud-based application that basically allows me to take my sessions in Pro Tools, put everything, it grabs all the assets, and let's say I'm working with this gentleman. What's your name, sir? Eli? So Eli and I are working on my new album, and I need Eli. He's going to be the guest vocalist on my album. I'm going to send that entire session over to him via Gobbler. So my file menu just send to, puts everything together, send it over to Eli. Eli's going to rock an amazing vocal and send that session back to me via Gobbler. Everything's nice, plays, nothing gets lost. And a ton of other stuff. You can send a disk cache, you can actually push your session audio into RAM. Just really makes your workflow nice and efficient, right? We all want to be efficient. So what we're going to do right now, that's not me, that's Alicia Keys. We're going to go ahead and first I want to thank Miss Alicia Keys and her husband, producer Swiss Beats, for giving us the session, the Pro Tools session, to her latest single, Girl on Fire. So what I've been asked to do is take that song, take that session, and put my spin on it as an electronic music artist. So let's go ahead and first listen to a little of the original, just to give us some reference. You guys already know the song, but you know, just for reference, let's listen to a little bit. That song, really, really great song. Brings out your inner powerful woman. So, we've got the song, we've got the source material, and that's typically what I do when I'm in the recording studio. When someone sends me a remix to do, I listen to the source, kind of get a feel for what it is if I don't already know it, and then I start thinking about how I'm going to start creating inside of Pro Tools. So typically for me, because I'm going to want to have something that I'm going to be able to play in the club, that's my style, I start thinking about how I'm going to build a groove up. So you can do that quickly and easily in Pro Tools. So here we've got some MIDI clips. You can see I've got a kick, a clap, and a hi-hat. And the plugin I'm using to build those drums is a virtual instrument that's included with Pro Tools 10 called Boom. Boom is a really great virtual instrument. Emulates some classic drum machines like an 808, 909, even a 606. But it's also got some really cool modern sounds and samples for hip-hop, dance, pop, R&B. Just really, really cool library. So I've got that up here, and let's go ahead and give a quick listen to what's going on there. So let's start building a groove up. Alright, so you can hear that my clap and my hi-hat, they're not quantized. I need to get everything nice and in time. So obviously any DAW has, you can quantize, but the cool thing about Pro Tools is that I have the option of doing it non-destructively using a format we call real-time properties. Now what that means is at any point during the session, if I go ahead and I want to change the quantized level or quantized value of any of my MIDI clips, I can do so easily. So now my kick is using half notes. I'm going to go back to 16s here. Quantize this at a 16 value. But at any point I can even turn off real-time properties and have my original performance, right? So that makes it really cool. So you're never stuck with a destructive edit. So obviously, I'm thinking about creating and writing music for this remix, but I'm also engineering my material. So I'm thinking about, sonically how I want things to sound as I go along. So for the drums, I went ahead and pulled up another great plugin that's included with Pro Tools. This is our EQ3. This is the 7-band version. I'm going to go ahead and turn that on. So now we've got some low-end punch. I've got some, some shimmer on the high end, right? Really great, clean. This is my workhorse EQ that I use quite a bit. Okay, we need to keep building here. Time's a wasted. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now, you can see that I've got 3 audio loops. These are loops that came from a plugin that I'm going to show you in just a second. And I'm going to go ahead and turn those on because what I want to do now with those drums, if you keep hearing this over and over, it's going to get boring. You got to chunk those drums up a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and turn those loops on, taking me off. Alright, so now I've got these 3 loops that are in time. Now we're starting to, to feel pretty good. It's still early in the day, so we can kind of rock that. Now, of course, I'm thinking, I feel like I want one more loop in there that's going to be a little bit more percussive, maybe some Latin percussion. My wife is Cuban, so she loves Latin percussion, as do I. So again, I'm going to call up that plugin I was going to mention to you earlier. This is Transfuser. This is where those other loops came from. Transfuser is a real-time groove manipulation plugin, and it's a plugin that's designed by the Advanced Instrument Research Team out of Bremen. This is one of the plugins what we call our Pro Tools Instrument Expansion Pack. It's a series of 5 great, really amazing plugins that you can purchase separately that really takes your creative limits to the max. So I'm going to go ahead and find some content here. I'm going to go to the percussion loop, acoustic percussion loop folder, and let's see if we can't find a conga loop that'll work well here. The cool thing about Transfuser is it automatically latches to the session tempo, so all the content will automatically be at the right tempo. Alright, that was pretty cool. Let's try another one. I like that one. Let's go ahead and just use that one. So the drag and drop it right into the main window. Now, I'm going to show you a trick that my little secret, so I'm going to share this with you. Don't tell anybody. This is just from me to you, okay? Promise? In Transfuser, so now we're thinking we've got this loop, and we're going to have to save it export it, re-import it, and that's going to take time, right? I'm lazy. I don't want to, take that kind of time. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to show you a quick trick. I'm going to go ahead and press play on the module just with a conga loop. All right? And I'm going to record that directly into transducer really quickly by just hitting the record button. All right, here we go. My bad. All right, here we go. All right, so there's our piece of audio. I'm not going to export anything. I'm just going to bring it right into the timeline now by dragging and dropping it right here. Now, of course, if I didn't have an audio track there, Pro Tools would create the audio track for me. So let me get rid of transducer here for now. And now, let me loop that. Now that loop is there in time and in the session. Pretty cool, right? And really fast and efficient. So now I've got my drums. And I want to start thinking about adding some musicality to this thing. So let's go ahead and start thinking about adding some synths. So when I heard the song and I was thinking about it, and it's a very powerful, uplifting song. It's in the key of A major. But I typically, in dance music and the stuff that I do, I don't typically work in major keys. I'm typically working in minor and sometimes open keys. So I wanted to bring that kind of a little bit darker vibe to the song, without removing the positivity, because we need more positivity in the world. So I decided to create a synth line that was going to kind of reflect that a little bit. So what I did is I went straight to my most favorite virtual instrument of all time, and that really is the truth. This is actually the virtual instrument that brought me into the Pro Tools fold, but I really wanted to use this plugin. This is Hybrid. This is another virtual instrument from that Pro Tools instrument expansion pack that I mentioned earlier, the transducer is. And this is a high definition synthesizer. Excuse me. So it's a really amazing synth, and I created the sound, and I've got a bunch of stuff happening on a few encoders, and I wanted to make it easier for me to control. So I assigned a lot of those parameters to one knob. We call it morph knob. So you got 4 different morph knobs right down here. So I'm going to go ahead and solo that, and you can just give a quick listen to the line. Now as I open it up, you're going to hear that the sound dynamically change. A little bit, maybe we can change a little bit, shape changes, cut off is active. I'm going to put that back in the mix. Now, with the morph knob pulled back, we're kind of not hearing hybrid too well, right? It's kind of getting lost in the mix. Now I can just go turn it up, got plenty of headroom, but that's some bad practice. We want to do things the right way. So first we go ahead and open it up. You can hear it at the top a little, but I want the full dynamics of the sound. So what I went ahead and did, called up our brand new Pro Limiter. This is one of 3 plugins that we've introduced here at Namm this week. So we've got a brand new Pro Limiter, Pro Expander, and Pro Compressor, all built on Euphonic System 5 heritage. Alright? So this limiter is just really amazing. I'm really just pleased to work with it over the past few weeks. I'm going to go ahead and turn that on here. So now when hybrid is, kind of down brought back on the morph knob, still feeling, and now it's kind of really just modulating really nicely at the bottom, right? Alright, thank you, Pro Limiter. So now at this point, I figured, okay, I'm going to need a bass line that's going to go along with what's going on there with hybrid, and I'm going to need something that's, kind of gritty. So for that, I went to Vacuum. Vacuum is a dual oscillator monophonic synth that comes with all Pro Tools 10 systems, right? A really great plugin. So let's go ahead and solo that and just give a quick listen to what that sounds like. Right, so now we got some deep darkness going on there, right? And it complements what hybrid's doing. Let's put that back into the mix. Now at this point, back in the mix, again, I just need to feel it a little bit more. Again, I'm not just going to turn up the volume to do things right. So what I went ahead and did, I went to, we've got some really amazing third-party synths, I got my drums, and I'm thinking, you know what? I want something that's going to bring the musicality of that arpeggiation on the synth a little bit more. So I started thinking, you know, what synth do I want to use? Do I use a liquid hybrid? Do I use a reactor? What do I want to use? I've got a ton of great synths. And I get a phone call from my boss, Gil Gowing, at Avid. He said, hey, Greg, I know you're making you're working on the Alicia Keys remix. I don't know how far into it you are, but Waves is called, and they're introducing their very first virtual instrument at Namm. Do you want to check it out? I'm like, oh, yeah, send it over. They sent it over, and I was really, really impressed with the work they did. And it's Element. This is a brand new virtual instrument, their first virtual instrument from Waves. So I was able to dial in a pad that I really liked, kind of a chord pad, kind of a Detroit techno style thing, and bring that into the mix really easily. So let me go ahead and pull that up. Let's solo that. Very classic, you know, techno house kind of a style pad. Of course, I can open it up with the cutoff. And we want to be able to control the dynamics of that as well. So how are we going to do that? First, I'll bring it into the mix. My EQ bridge, because I use it so much. It's my workhorse. I'm going to accentuate some of the mids a little bit. Pull out some of the lows. I'm not going to need those. Alright, perfect. And then I'm going to need to handle the dynamics of what this new line is going to do throughout the song. So I went back to our AAX plugin pack and went to my favorite developer, DSP. This is their 4040 limiter, classic limiter. And we go ahead and turn that on. Now, when I go back to Element and control the cutoff here, everything's handled nicely with that limiter, right? We'll push it back down there. Now at this point, my drums, I've kind of forgotten about my drums a little bit. I want to make sure that they've got a good amount of punch there, right? So what I've done is I've set up some bus compression, parallel compression. I'm going to go ahead and push those drums out to an auxiliary. And let's go ahead and do that right now. So everything's from the MIDI to the audio. Alright? And let's take a look at the plugin I'm using for that parallel compression. It's another plugin from that AAX plugin pack. Another really great partner of ours, Push Audio. This is their UBK1 compressor. Really great musical compressor that I love working with. I use it a lot on my drums. You can use it on anything. I just really love how it sounds on drums. Nice and flat, you know, nice and tight, right? So now at this point, things are getting to be in the pocket. But what am I missing? This is a remix for who? This young lady, right? We don't have anything for her in this remix yet. Can't make it all about me, right? So remember I told you earlier, I'm very lazy, and you know, we like to call it being efficient. My mom and my wife call it being lazy. And we've got this session from Alicia Keys that clocks it at 93 BPM. Now I'm working at 120 BPM. So I'm already starting to bite my nails because now I'm thinking I got some work to do. I got to find the stems that I want, and I'm going to have to do a bunch of time compress expansion and time stretching. And oh man, you know, Battlestar Galactica is on tonight, and I want to watch that, and I don't want to have to do this. I was like, wait a second, I'm in Pro Tools HD10. I've got the power of elastic audio that should be able to handle this without any problem. So what I'm about to show you, this is not smoke and mirrors. I'm going to go ahead and pull stuff from that original session, and hopefully elastic audio is going to do the job that I needed to do. So to do that, I'm going to go straight to my workspace browser. You can see that I've got elastic audio preview ready to go. It's on that little green metronome. And I'm going to find where I have the original session. Should be here my desktop here, my Namm folder. Okay, here's the Alicia Keys session folder. And there's the Pro Tools icon, the Pro Tools file for it, the PTX file. I'm going to grab that and drag it right into my timeline. And what that does, it brings up an import session data window. And that window's asking me, hey Greg, what do you want to bring in? So you can see here, these are all the tracks from the original session. It's quite a bit. But I already know that I just want to work with her hook, her vocal hook, and the double for that hook, because it gives it a really nice chorus effect. Again, remember, that's at 93 BPM. I'm going to hit OK. So we can see we've got elastic time on here. Right here, I'm using the polyphonic algorithm. We can go ahead and push these vocals up to the top. And let's see if elastic audio go, did its job. Hates to be lazy. All right, Elastic Audio did the job for me, and now everything's ready to go. But of course, we're hearing Alicia's vocals all the way in the back because this is coming from a different mix now, and now we're in this entirely different world for her. So we need to bring her up to speed and let have her sound fit well in this mix. So to do that, I've got a vocal chain set up for her on an auxiliary. I'm going to push both of those lines, those vocal lines straight there. My bus is here. Go ahead and do that quickly, and then I'll show us on in that chain. Both of those out here. So the bus for that, the auxiliary, has a few things. You've got, again, I told you guys I use this plugin a lot. So just kind of accentuating some of her mids, very little bit on the high end, and pulling out a little bit of the lows. And then I went to our friends at Isotope, and I pulled up their stutter edit plugin. It's just a really amazing, very great way to do some really cool stutter effects really quickly, right? Back in the past, back in the day, we'd spend a ton of time either retriggering MIDI and cutting stuff up and resampling stuff, or cutting up audio on the timeline and taking hours and hours and hours. Stutter edit makes it really easy to come up with even better effects than you can ever imagine. So after that, I pushed all the vocals over to our brand new Pro compressor. So I showed you the limiter earlier. Now you're going to get to hear the compressor a little bit. Again, built on the amazing System 5 heritage. We're really proud of this compressor. And make sure you also take a listen to it. We got it installed on some of the demo pods around the booth to hear some more examples. And then I went back to our AAX plugin pack and went to Revive 2. It's a really amazing sounding reverb. And we're really proud of this reverb. And then I had to go with an oldie but goodie. Some of my friends make fun of me for using this delay still, but it doesn't matter because I'm the one up here talking about remixing Alicia Keys, and they're at home, doing whatever they're doing. It's a great delay, built into Pro Tools, just an amazing sounding, clean, easy used delay. So there's mod delay too. So let's go ahead. I'm going to apply some stutter edit. Before I do that, let's just listen to the chain that we've got on Alicia's vocal now. All right. Everything really well, doing exactly what I needed to do. So let's go ahead and get really creative with Alicia's vocals now. Typically when I work on a remix, if it's a vocal track, I typically don't use much of the vocal. But I really like this vocal, I really like what it says, I like how it feels. But at the same time, I live in a world of dance music, and I really want to do something special for that vocal. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is, using my MIDI controller here, my little Axiom Pro 25, I'm going to go ahead and use a couple of presets that I've created for Alicia's vocal using Stutter Edit. So let's go ahead and record that via MIDI. Alright, let's see. Here it goes. Alicia, I love how that sounds, really cool, fits in the mix really well. So let's fast forward a little bit, we'll play that again so you guys can hear that, because that's actually my favorite part of this entire thing. We're going to fast forward into the mix. We're now ready to get things going, print everything, and send it off to the label. And I'm going to play it in the club that night, so I'm thinking about, okay, how do I want this to kind of sound in the club? Now I'm thinking about how I'm going to treat my master channel. So what I've gone ahead and done here is added a few things on my master. So I went to Channel Strip, which is a really great set of tools that we've taken, from our Euphonics heritage. You've got a compressor, limiter, EQ. I'm just going to use the EQ here to kind of smooth out the mix a little bit. And then to kind of glue everything together, I've added a touch of reverb, a really great reverb included with Pro Tools, so just a very tiny bit. And then I went back over to my favorite, partner, AAX partner developer, like DSP, and used the 4-band ML4000. And right before the show started, I was up here rehearsing, and Colin McDowell, the owner of the company, walked by and saw that I was showing it, and he ran up and was like, hey, I just completed the AAX version for ML4000. So I'm super excited about being able to use that very, very soon. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to play this now, everything running through the master channel, but I'm going to leave my PSP, the ML4000 off until halfway into the pass, and then I'll turn it on so you can hear the difference. Here it goes. Stuff that we have going on here. The track count's not that high, but there's a ton of stuff going on. And I'm really happy, and I feel like I work very efficiently with the power of Pro Tools HD Native and Pro Tools HD, HD Native Thunderbolt and Pro Tools HD10. Very, very happy to be working that at home. Very, very happy to be showing it here. So I showed you a ton of great plugins. I showed you a few that are a part of that plugin, AAX plugin pack. We've got so many plugins in here, 18 really amazing plugins, $12.95, limited time offer until March 15th, I believe, and it's a 70% savings. So if you want to work with some really amazing plugins, it's a really great pack to purchase. And again, you're getting all the DSP native and rendered versions as well. I also talked about our new Pro plugins, our brand new Pro compressor, our Pro expander, and our Pro limiter. Make sure you check those out as well. I'm really happy about this plugin. Very, very excited to be able to bring those to you guys now. So make sure you check that out as well. Ton of stuff happening. Make sure you stay connected with us at Avid. If you're on Twitter, you can follow us at Avid. Always feel free to hashtag us, with the hashtag Avid. If you're on Facebook, there's a way to get a hold of us there. A couple of things I also wanted to mention before I let you go. A ton of stuff at the booth. Make sure you check that out. I mentioned Gobbler, being able to use Gobbler. You can sign up for a free account, but at either one of these posts over here, there's a couple of things you can do. One, get your badge scanned if you want to keep in touch with us. We'll get you product announcements and updates. But we've got these Gobbler flyers from our friends over there. They're giving you a free 2-month 50 gig account. I actually have a 50 gig account, and I use it all the time. I'm filling it up pretty full. So you get 2 free months of 50 gigs. That's pretty amazing. So if you want to check that out, make sure you do. A ton of stuff to see at the booth, guys. We've got Sibelius on this side, some really cool 11-rack reamping going on over here, Artist Series stuff, Mbox, our Mbox family. I also wanted to mention, for those of you who are interested in getting into HD Native, maybe you're a 002 user, a 003 user, or an Mbox Pro user, we've got a ton of, we've got a few really great upgrade paths if you're one of those guys that have one of those units to get into HD Native, all right? And it's at a really great cost savings. Also in the back, we've got our Icon, our really just amazing console, our live console as well at the venue, which Thad behind you there is running the show on. And just so much to see, guys. Don't forget, Masada's plays here too. All right, that's going to be awesome. I will be here heckling Dave because he's been heckling me all week. So I'm going to return the favor today. So it's his 100th episode live today. So make sure you check that out. Jeff Omar, one of our application specialists, also doing some really amazing HDX workflow demos. So guys, thank you very much. Wear comfortable shoes. Make sure you hydrate. And hang on to your voices, all right? Guys, take care. Thank you very much.